In this video, we'll show you a custom interface we have built for Airtable interfaces using the interface SDK that allows you to create custom coded extensions. This map over here allows you to showcase areas on a map. So this is displaying KML files. And you can also display routes. So this is displaying GPX files. So we have both areas and maps. And this is also, since this is built into an existing interface, it can be also filtered using the filters that you would normally see on the interface. And if you stick to the end of the video, I will tell you how you can copy this base and test it out for yourself. Hi, this is Greg from Business Automated, and on this channel we help you save time and money with useful solutions to automate your business. If you have not already, consider subscribing. That helps us produce more useful videos for you. Before I show you the custom interface, let me first walk you through the structure of the Airtable base. So here we have a table which is called areas, and let's say these are the areas that your business is servicing. So you can see that we have the descriptions, we have some additional information, and we have the most important element. We have an attachment field with KML file. KML file, it's a markup file. We cannot open it here inside of Airtable, but it basically contains geo-coordinates and borders of the area, but also it can contain individual points and so on. The next table here are orders. So we're just mocking up some sample orders that have been taken and then linking them to a specific area, and GPX, so the route that, for example, delivery rider was taking. Now you can see here I have only 3 sample routes. I'm using here GPX file, which is something that, for example, your Garmin watch will generate if you're doing a time tracking, but it also can come from other tracking devices. So it's a track file. So you can see, for example, this is a sample viewer. It basically contains the route that this person has followed, but it also contains information like, for example, elevation and so on. So coming back, these are the 3 base tables that we have. And now let's add a custom interface here. You can see that I have a basic interface set up here where I can filter by specific locations, and I have some rollup values that are being added up depending on what I select. So let's reset that. You can see I can also filter by specific orders and so on. So now we would use the fact that we have this filtering on top, and inside of this existing interface, we will add the custom interface. So right here in the middle, I would select custom interface, and I have already pre-built this interface and I have released it. I will not walk you through like the details of building this. I will make a separate video that talks a little bit more about it. So you can see now I have added the map over here, map of London. And you can see that first I have a warning here that I need to add an API key. So for that, this is based on Mapbox. If you would like to copy my base and use it for yourself, then you need to go to Mapbox and you need to set up your own account and then create your own API key. And coming back to here, at the moment, the only way to store the API keys is inside of custom properties. So you can see that I already have connected this here. You can see everything has loaded. Let's increase the size of this box to large so that we are using a large setup. And you can see that it automatically has mapped to some of the information that we have. So for example, the areas table, and here we could select what is the name of the field that stores the KML file. So this is that one. And you can see that at the moment, we're just having a basic version that displays different areas for us over here. Now, what is interesting is that if we filter it out here, if we select, for example, one of the boroughs, then we will only display that specific borough. We can also change the outline. So you can see we're just changing this to gray. We can select a few more. So you can see that they are basically being added on the map. If we select a specific order, we would also see what were the locations where that specific order was taking place. So those boroughs that are relevant to that order are showing up here on the map. So let's change to the colorful. The color here is actually coming from the KML file. So we did not set it up here in our custom interface. This is exactly the color that was embedded inside of the KML files. All right, now let's add one other element that we had in the beginning, which is the routes. Here we have the selector that allows us to basically hide the areas. And here we would show and hide routes, but at the moment it is not showing anything because it is not connected to the routes. So here the routes is a separate table. So you will see that to be able to select this from a separate table, we also need to enable what tables can be accessed by this extension. So by default, this is the areas table, but we can show one other table. So let's select the riders routes. And once we have selected this, actually using the defaults, it will show the riders routes here. So you can see I can select the table, and here I can select which file contains the routes. And additionally, what I'm having here is the rider's name and a date. And the reason I'm using this is that once we click on the route, so let's turn off the areas. Once I click on the route, actually it will show me a little pop-up that gives you the name and gives you the date when this specific route was recorded. You can see that I also have a button called View in Airtable. And for this to work, we also need to allow the extension to use other interfaces, because what it's using a layout that might be pre-created inside of your base or maybe used for a different use case and so on. So now you can see that I have that specific route showing up over here. So let me just show you this on the full screen so it doesn't reload. So you can see here we have the full map. For example, let's show only the riders. We can select this route. Once I click view, then I have regular Airtable interface page pop up on top that showcases the details. The same we can do for another route here and so on. We can close it. Yeah, so that is pretty much everything. Let's clear this. Let's show the routes. And yeah, you can navigate on this the way you would navigate on any other map. So this is a very simple demo how you could incorporate maps into your Airtable bases. And this is a very specific use case, and it is not including probably many elements that you would need if you are actually going to be using this for tracking riders and so on. But this is just a proof of concept to show you what you can do. If you would like to test it, I would include a link to this base below. So you would be able to copy this base and then open this for yourself. So if you click the link in the description of the video, you will find this shared base, and from here you can basically go to copy base and copy this over to your workspace and test it out over there. Remember, you will need to use the Mapbox API key. And that's it. If you would be interested in something that is more elaborate and so on, do reach out to us at Business Automated and we will be able to build for you a custom extension that you might need for your specific business use case and so on. So that's it. I hope you guys found it useful and have a fantastic day.